are listening to the Barbara May Show, the place where we discuss all that really matters. We will cover all you need to know about lifestyle, health, spirituality, and plus so much more. Are you ready? Let's dive in. You are listening to episode 30 with Natty Bernasconi. Natty is your go-to social media coach, Instagram strategist, and attraction marketing expert. Natty has built two super successful online businesses by leveraging Instagram primarily. In this episode, we will talk about this fairly new social audio platform called Clubhouse, how to use your own voice to develop and expand your unique brand to forge the right connections for you and to discover new and inspiring collaborations. Let's dive in. Hi Natty, welcome back. So happy to have you here. What are you grateful for?
Yes, love this question. You asked this last week. So grateful for today. I'm extremely grateful for the fact that I'm at home now in a semi-base, I would say. But I have my dog here with me. I don't know what it is about waking up and having him in my space, but he brings me so much joy every morning. I don't know what it is about dogs and animals, but you walk out and they're just always so happy. He is a really great excuse for me also to be active every day because I love to take him for walks. My parents aren't as able to because they're looking after him for me because I travel so much. So it's a great excuse for me to get out and walk every day, especially seeing as I'm not as motivated to be active as I used to be, 3-4 months ago. So very grateful for having him here with me now. And yeah, that extra motivation to be active because that's so important for my productivity and for my soul in general as well. Just starting the day with movement, it just really does help to set me up. So that's probably what I'm most grateful for today.
I love it. I saw one of your posts. You posted, I think you were walking with him on a beach, and I was just thinking, because I haven't got a dog, and I was just thinking, how great is it to get a dog? It just gets you out of the house. I love that post.
Yeah, he's a cutie pie. He's big. He's a cutie though.
So let's talk about Clubhouse, and let's talk about how did Clubhouse help you to grow your business. And before we start talking about that, can you just quickly explain what Clubhouse is for the people who don't know? Because I'm sure there are people who just don't know anything about Clubhouse.
Absolutely. I mean, it is such a relatively new platform still. And I love opening people's awareness of this platform because I do think it's so powerful and it really does help to demonstrate the power of your voice. So Clubhouse is a social media platform. It has been around for over a year. However, it only really came into a lot of people's vision and, realm towards the beginning of this year. So the beginning of 2021. And it's an audio only app. It is called Clubhouse. So the way that they term and phrase things are, it's a clubhouse, you have a hallway and you have different rooms within that hallway. You also have clubs as well. And within those, within the hallway, you can choose which rooms you step into. And then as soon as you step into a room, you can listen in almost like listening into a podcast. However, a lot of the rooms are also rooms where you're welcome to move from the audience, which is the terms that they use. So you're in the audience and you're welcome to join the speakers up on stage. Now, I use different terms, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. But that's how they kind of phrase the different, parts of these rooms. And you can either, pop up on stage to ask a question or to contribute or, discuss a topic, whatever it may be, but all the rooms are different. They have different speakers specializing in various different things. Some of them are popcorn style chat rooms. Some of them are, just mastermind training rooms. Some are Q&A spaces. So there's lots of different things that is provided for. So it's like a podcast, like a radio, but it's also somewhere where you can also contribute potentially or ask questions live. And quite honestly, it's an incredibly powerful platform. They sometimes or usually call a group of speakers a panel. And I've been on a panel with Grant Cardone. I've been on a panel with Kelly Holmes, who's an Olympic athlete here in the UK. And it's just an incredible experience. That's something that I would never experience. Well, maybe I would, in the real one-on-one, world. Whereas in the online space, this has become possible. And the opportunities that it's opening up for people is outstanding. So it is audio only, which does give you that ability to use your voice in a way that you may not have used it before. And I think that is incredible. At first, it can be scary as hell. I know I was scared, because even though you can't see the person, you can't see me, you can't, you're hiding behind a screen, you are still stepping up and talking to X amount of people, even if it's 10 people, 100 people. I've been in a room on a stage with over, thousands of people, and it is scary. But the more and more you do it, the easier it gets, and you can really start to leverage this space for anything. It could just be to connect with like-minded people, because all the different rooms focus on different topics. You can select your interests. So you're shown different rooms that would be, touching on within the interests that you've chosen. So you won't hopefully be shown random rooms on topics that don't interest you. And you can just pop in, pop out. And it's a great place to learn. It's a great place to grow. And it really is a great place to leverage for any business or whatever you're wanting to achieve outside of that space as well. So Clubhouse is now open to everybody. Before it was, very much in beta testing the last year. So it was invite only. First, it was iPhone only, but now it's open to Android. You don't need an invite. It's very much an open app. And it can be an extremely powerful space where you just use your voice. You don't have to prepare any content. You don't have to plan. You can plan before you jump into rooms, but you don't have to. You can ad hoc it. And you can also create a club. So I've created a club within this space, which I'm sure I'll touch on a bit later. And that's something else that you can do, which is very similar to Facebook, a Facebook group. So that's what a club is essentially the same as. And yeah, that's a really great way, again, of building awareness, creating a space for people to access rooms. They could be open rooms where everyone can access, or they can be closed club rooms as well. So it's kind of an exclusive access type of thing. And you can, there's so many different things you can do within Clubhouse, and it's, beginning to be monetized in ways. And I think it's just going to grow and expand. And it's funny because there are so many other social media platforms now who are trying to compete with Clubhouse by bringing out, audio only rooms and spaces, which are a replica of Clubhouse. But it's kind of like, Instagram trying to replicate TikTok with Reels. It can be successful somewhat to a certain extent, but will it replace the other app? I don't think so. So yeah, it's a really great app to jump into if you haven't already. It might not be for you, but you never know what may happen.
There is also a great thing about Clubhouse that you can get in contact with all those people, like the high profile people I'm talking about. And usually they have open DM policy, don't they? So you can, while they're in the room, when you text them and stuff, you can get in contact. I love Clubhouse. I have made so many connections, and exactly what you said, I struggled from the beginning to speak out for myself, because suddenly just everybody listens in the room and you don't know, it's just so scary. So how did Clubhouse help you to grow your business?
Yeah, so my goodness, I think I started, I joined Clubhouse, I think in February, but I didn't do anything with the app for a good 2-3 weeks because I had no idea what it was. I just had seen it all over my Instagram and thought, at first I just ignored it and thought, well, I didn't jump on TikTok. I like focusing my attention on Instagram. Then I saw in a Facebook community, a Facebook group, that somebody was opening a 24-hour room in Clubhouse. And I thought, you know what? Why not? It was a 24-hour room on social media. I just thought, it's kind of like a jump in the deep end type thing. So I did. And I think that was in March time. And it was an experience. I wouldn't recommend it to people. It was very intense for a first experience. But I opened up a room and I did have a co-moderator with me. So I did have another main speaker there. And we were just talking about social media, answering questions, and predominantly talking on Instagram then. And from then on, I just realized how easy it was to just jump into something and start talking. I say easy very loosely, not easy as in you don't need the courage at first, but easy as in you don't need to have brushed your hair or be wearing any clothes. You can just jump in and start to talk about something you're really passionate about. And I loved that aspect, and it was very different to what I was used to. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to start using this space more. And so after that room, at first, all I did was jump into rooms and listen in a little bit. And I started to hear people saying how big Clubhouse was going to become, and how if you have the time and energy to pour into it, now's the time to do it while it's still new. And what really struck a chord with me was somebody saying in a room, imagine if you could go back 10 years or however long to when Instagram or Facebook just started. Would you put that time and energy into that, into your profile, into your account, into that app then? And that was a resounding yes in my mind, because imagine where you could be today, 10 years later. And I thought, you know what? That is such a good point. Clubhouse could be the next huge platform. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to pour my time and energy into it as much as I can do and see what happens. I mean, all I can lose really is some of my time and energy, but I'm sure a lot of lessons learned will come from it. So I began to invest that time and energy. And because it's so easy to do, I was listening into Clubhouse rooms while I was in the shower or cooking. And, you could do all of these things whilst you were living your day-to-day life. But after a few weeks, I started to reach out to others to start opening up rooms. I didn't have the confidence to do it on my own. Plus, I thought that would have been a big task because there's a lot to manage while you're in these rooms, people talking, people joining you, up. So I mentioned earlier, I don't use the terms audience and stage. I actually use the terms of my front room and the garden. And the garden is where people are listening in. And my front room is always welcome to people to join me in from the garden. And I often joke, especially when I was in the UK, it must be chilly in the garden. Come up into my front room where it's warm. You can have a nice cuppa. And it was just, it was something that was different. A lot of other people thought it was, really lovely, a lovely way to phrase it. And it was something that kind of, I suppose, allowed me to stand out from a lot of the other speakers. And I think that's something key to keep in mind here if you're wanting to build a brand in this space, is to not necessarily follow what everyone else is doing, but to make this space your own. It can be your own space. You can make it what it is. There are no rules. Well, there are rules, obviously, but there are no rules with regards to how you may want to run your room, whether you do just want them to be training sessions or masterminds or Q&A style sessions or popcorn discussions. You kind of choose what you do in that space. And I think, that first key point of how I built my brand and how I built my business was being different. being myself first and foremost, because being myself allowed me to be different because no one else is me. And by being that authentic, genuine self, I allowed myself to be, different from others and to stand out. So that's probably one of the key points. And as time went by, I had reached out to a couple of other Instagram experts, and we started to open up rooms together. And my confidence just grew and grew. And it just became so much easier to talk about these topics. And then time went by, I started to go into other rooms where it was maybe it wasn't necessarily social media, but it was online business. But then social media always comes up, and this is always, you can always make social media relevant to online business, because without social media, the large majority of online businesses would not be around today still. So that cemented to me the power of social media, and especially the power of Instagram. And even more, the point actually is that Instagram was the only way to connect with people outside of Clubhouse, because it directly linked to Clubhouse as well as Twitter, but Twitter isn't as big as Instagram. So a lot of people actually over time realized how important and how amazing Instagram was. And a lot of people started to take Instagram a lot more seriously, because before it was just a personal space, which allowed me to grow the business because it was exactly the service I was providing anyway. So that helped. But how I, continued to grow my brand in that space is I did start to jump into other rooms and contribute. If there was anything, social media related, I would start to contribute. And I've always been slightly different in my views, experience, and what I share about Instagram. I often bust a lot of myths. I find that other social media people jump on, I call them the hype wagons, and I don't do that. I don't just take something, a rumor, and take that as gospel. I look into it, I delve, and I then find out the truth, or I go to the original source. So I think sharing what I was sharing in those rooms really opened people's eyes to me, because it was like, wow, she's saying something different to all these others, and what Natty's sharing makes sense. So I began to do that. And then over time, I decided to open up my own club because I wanted to build a really strong community in this space. I found that I was already doing that anyway, just by spending time on the platform. I was building this community, and I thought, what better way than to create a space for everybody? And you never know what you may be able to do with that space further down the line. So, maybe you could open it up and make it a paid membership club. You just never know. That's not something I've got at the moment, but you can have exclusive members only rooms. And I now invite other experts in who focus on other social media platforms to talk in rooms. And it is just a really powerful thing to create. If that's something you're wanting to, you definitely don't need to. It can take a bit of work to manage, admins and things, but it's definitely worth your time and energy, especially if you are just opening up rooms anyway, because people are attracted to you. They're attracted to your rooms. And if your room is in a club, they will be attracted to that club as well. So I started off by opening rooms in other people's clubs. And then I decided to open up my own club when that was an option. So I did that. And what I did, which really made a difference, was, so I suppose you could call it seasons of my Clubhouse experience, because the first month was definitely trial, tribulation, popping into other people's rooms, opening up a few ad hoc rooms of my own. And then the second month, I thought, you know what, I'm going to go full out, full throttle. And I opened up at least 2 rooms every day, Monday through to Sunday. And I also jumped into other people's rooms in the meantime. So it was a lot of time and energy. I wouldn't necessarily recommend this for everybody, to be honest, because my business definitely had to take a step back because I don't have a team helping me to run it. I do my own consultations. All of my services are one-on-one. So my business took a bit of a back step for, that month. I had previous clients, which I still had, but I didn't bring on anyone new. But I did focus that attention on Clubhouse. And what I found in that time was that I was really, truly able to build a brand because I was cohesive in how I showed up. I showed up the same way in every single one of my rooms. I shared the same messages. I didn't, jump on hype wagons or anything like that. And I was cohesive through to my Instagram as well, because as I mentioned, you were directly linked to Instagram, and that was the one way that people could connect with you. And I was cohesive with my message there. So that was key, being really concise and clear in everything that I was saying as well. But just that consistency of showing up 2 to 3 times every day, people notice you. You see this face popping in or this name because you have a profile image, and you see this person popping up and these rooms popping up, and people just started to know me as being that Instagram person. And it was really powerful doing that. As I said, I don't recommend it for everybody. It takes a lot of time, a lot of energy. I didn't have a life. I was in lockdown. Full disclaimer, I was in lockdown. Nothing was open. My partner worked 24/7 pretty much anyway. So I had nothing else to do anyway, really. And I just thought, why not? So I did that for the month. But because my business had to take a back step and, I wanted to have a bit of a life, the following month, I cut it down a little bit and made it more of a manageable schedule. I didn't contribute in as many rooms. I didn't open up as many of my own rooms, but I was still consistent in my morning rooms. So what I would say is that if you're wanting to build a powerful brand in this space, is to choose a schedule that suits you and to stick to it. A lot of people just open ad hoc rooms at times when they're able to open them up. But I treat Clubhouse like a one-on-one client consultation. I show up. Admittedly, during a couple of months of my first trimester, that was a struggle. And I also had appointments and hospital appointments, and it wasn't always possible, but wherever I could, I showed up for that appointment, which I set myself, and I still do. So if you're able to plan your day around that, I think it's really important to do so, or plan your schedule around your life. I think showing up consistently, whether it's 2 days a week, 3 days a week, 7 days a week, an hour room, 2-hour room, whatever it may be, that consistency will really help in you building that brand awareness and just showing up in other people's rooms as well, because it takes a lot less of your energy and time, because you can be tuning in, and then wherever relevant, you can pop into, to speak, to take part, to contribute. But if you are opening up your own rooms, you are being that thought leader. You are showing up as an expert within that industry, and doing that over time. I have built such a strong brand presence in that space. And it was honestly, it is honestly so easy, and it can be so fun as well. And it's simply you popping in and being yourself, sharing all of your knowledge, experience, and expertise. And you will be known for it if you put in that time and energy. So having done that, for 2-3 months, however long it's been now, was absolutely worth all of the time and energy. And I think all of the trials and tribulations I can now pay forward. So as I said, wouldn't recommend doing 2 to 3 rooms a day whilst also contributing in others. But I suppose in that month I did probably fast forward my growth. But I think another key point is that the brand you're building in Clubhouse, you do need to have that brand within Instagram as well, because you are driving traffic to your Instagram account. And if your brand isn't cohesive, concise, and consistent over there as well, you won't be able to build that business, because people out here in this space, they love what they're hearing. They want to learn more. They want to see more. They want to, invest more time and energy and money into you. They go to your Instagram account and it's a complete flop. It's a personal account. You have nothing going on there. You can lose a lot of potential clients, buyers, community members that way. So I think the other key point here is just making sure you have that, final step, that final place and space to be where they are. It's almost like the conversion part. They've heard everything they need to hear, and then they need that place to connect with you and to potentially be converted into a buyer or just into a community member who are wanting to learn more from you. So I think my final key point is just making sure you have that space set up and those foundations set. And in order for you to do that, listen to the podcast from last week, because I break all of that down for you. So that's probably the key step there as well, just keeping all of that, those foundations up within that space, just to keep it flowing and to continue building that brand presence.
I love that. I love what you said about Instagram, because so many times it happened to me that I was interested in someone's voice and I just wanted to find out more. And then I went straight into their Instagram, and it was pictures of dogs. Obviously, nothing against dogs, but that was nothing relating to what they were talking about. And that kind of ended. And also, the thing is with Clubhouse that it's audio social platform. So we have that visual, which is still Instagram, and then this is the audio. So if I like what I hear, I would like to see it as well. So
it's putting
very
the face to
point.
the name. It's putting that face to the name. And I mean, I've mentioned it with regards to Instagram, humanizing your brand, because you're creating this incredible content, but putting the face to that name and brand is so powerful. And when you're listening to someone in that space and then being able to put a face to the name, it's like, you're a real person. I can see you. And, in one space, I can hear you in another, and it just all makes sense. And a last key tip, a top tip with Clubhouse is to choose a profile photo that you want to be your brand, because I am known for my profile photo, which is the photo you can see actually here on WhatsApp. And I ended up changing all of my profile photos to be the same one, because honestly, before Clubhouse, I didn't realize the importance of having a clear brand profile photo, because it really does become you and what you're known for, especially in an audio only platform. So top tip, use a profile image that you want to be known for. I don't know if mine I would choose again, to be honest. It was just the first one I could summon up within my archive. But that is now how I'm known. And if people see that, they know it's Natty and she does Instagram. So that's a top tip there. Make sure you choose a really good profile photo and keep it as well, because again, consistency, cohesiveness, but it really is important, because that's the only visual you have in Clubhouse, unless they're connecting with you on Instagram.
Are we going to use this photo for this podcast profile as well?
I might have to.
Good. Okay, fantastic. So can you please tell the listeners, for those who haven't listened to your episode on Instagram, can you tell us where can we find you and where can we get in contact with you? And also, can you talk about your Clubhouse room, what times and days you pop up, and how people can search for you? Because I think that's very important on Clubhouse. If you want to search for somebody, how do they search for you, how they found you, and go.
Yeah, absolutely. So I suppose I should have covered this when I was talking about like giving a general overview of Clubhouse.
Add it.
I'll do it now. So within Clubhouse itself, you can search for clubs, you can search for people, you can search via keywords as well. So very similar to Instagram, keyword search. And you do it by, tapping the magnifying glass, little tab, and then you can search. And actually, so this is from today's date. I'm hoping that this will change for the good. But if you type in social media coach on Clubhouse, I'm the second name to pop up. That there's one guy who's currently before me, and he just has a few more followers than me. So I'm hoping to, grow larger. And you never know, by the time you're listening to this, I may be at the top of that search. But yeah, if you type in social media coach, I should pop up as the second name. So I have in my Clubhouse bio, my name, Natty Bernasconi, and then social media coach. And I've had that as, the top 3 words of my bio since I started. And because I have grown quite a good audience within Clubhouse, using those keywords, and obviously if you type in my name, I'll be the first one to pop up, but social media coach, you will find me that way. So the power of keywords in your Clubhouse bio, there's another top tip there, but that's the way that you can find me specifically in Clubhouse. My club within Clubhouse is Social Media School. That's also grown really nosely over the last couple of months. I could only open it up, I think it was 2 months ago. That was when it was an option. Before that, there was an application form process, which never went through for me, unfortunately, because they were inundated. But that's my club. So you can also join that club. You can gain access to all of the rooms in that club by doing so. So that's just Social Media School. But in general, to connect with me, definitely Instagram. Instagram is my hub. It's where I love to connect with any and all of you. So my Instagram handle is Natty Bernasconi, which I'm sure is in the description because that's a long Italian name. And you can find me on Instagram, connect with me there. I very much share all of the Instagram and online business juice over in that space. I love to share my personal experiences and struggles, but also a hell of a lot of tips and tricks and really useful resources. So I would say connect with me on Instagram, absolutely. Or I have my website, which has all of the more detailed information on myself, my story, and all of the services I provide. And that's nattybsocial.com. And that is the place if you are wanting to learn more. I'll also be opening up a membership soon, at maybe the next new moon, we'll see, where I will be opening up a membership, which will be, within the Natty B Social brand, within that space. So watch out for that. But that is, I think, the main places that you can find me.
One last thing you forgot. What times are your rooms on Clubhouse?
Yes, absolutely. So at the moment, so they may well change from October because I'm moving to South America and the times there, it just may not suit me waking up at 2 a.m. So at the moment, they are at 9 a.m. BST, so UK British summertime, 9 a.m. every day, Monday through to Friday. And I talk all things Instagram and I answer questions. It's very much an open space, a safe space as well. I always say that there is no question that's silly. I welcome all questions and all people. So that's the regular room I currently run. And I do also have other rooms as well, which are focused on hashtags and algorithm. I'll be opening up a couple of rooms on Clubhouse and Pinterest as well, is something that I love to talk about. So lots of other rooms, but my regular room is that one. So that's where you can find me.
I enjoyed this episode so much. I am so obsessed with anything when it comes to social media, branding, internet, coding, just like literally anything. I find it so fascinating that you can grow and expand so quickly if you have the right strategy. So I hope that you have enjoyed it as well. And if you did, I would love to hear from you. Please let me know, and I cannot wait to see you on next episode.